You know what time it is. It's time to review 2025 and prepare for 2026. I'm going to show you how I am preparing for the new year this year. It's become a big thing in the past, 2 years for me to actually lock in. If you see a pimple on my lip, no, you didn't. So here's my vision board that I made for 2025. It's huge. So let's review it. First, we have this that says work out because you love your body, not because you hate it. I just wanted to make sure I got my priorities straight, and I really do think that happened. I feel like my relationship with my body completely changed this year for the better. So, amazing. We also have this. I just wanted to make sure that I was staying healthy, and I'm definitely way healthier than I was at the beginning of the year, and I'm also way happier. So, amazing. I don't care what you think about me. I don't think about you at all. This is definitely something that I'm still working on, not caring what people think, but I think I did a lot of things that I would have been too afraid to do without caring what anyone thinks. So I am making progress on this, but it is still something I'm going to continue to work on. Next we have this. It was just for YouTube growth. And while I did not have as much YouTube growth as I wanted to, that's okay because I still had some growth, which is a win in my eyes. It doesn't matter, I wasn't expecting anything crazy, but I did really rethink my journey with YouTube and the type of videos I want to make and stuff like that. And I've definitely found what I want to do, and I feel very good about that moving forward. Same with this monetization. Has not happened yet, but it will happen. This that says, I'm putting God first in 2025. I do think that I did do that. That is still something that I'm working on, but I think I've been a lot more consistent with praying and reading my Bible and stuff. My body is healthy and strong. True. I definitely built up my arm strength a lot and my core strength, and I feel really good about that. So then we just have this collage thing for self-care. I really, really, really took care of myself this year, which I'm going to touch on later. I'm going to do a whole review of 2025 and everything. I really, really took good care of myself this year, and I'm super proud of myself. I am beautiful, confident, and successful. True. A lot of these just have to do with self-care, and I definitely took care of myself this year. This is for making more friends and connections with people. That is still something I'm working on, but I did spend more time with my friends this year. My friend, should I say? But that's something that I'll also touch on that later, just rethinking interactions and stuff. This is way harder than it looks. This was for maybe a relationship. However, rethinking it, I definitely was not ready for a relationship this year because I needed to kind of find myself and really think about, rethink my thoughts on relationships. I had a lot of weird feelings surrounding it. So I'm just whenever a relationship happens, it'll happen. I don't care. Study hard, sleep well, eat healthy, work out, don't compare, be happy. I mean, yeah. For editing, I really was locked in. I am proud of a lot of the videos that I uploaded towards the end of the year because I really figured out what videos I actually wanted to make, and I feel very more aligned with it in that way. And finally, she chose herself. For real. I really, really found myself this year in my style and who I want to be, and I'm very, very proud of myself, and I'm proud of who I am and who I'm becoming. And yeah, just because my path is different than yours doesn't mean I'm lost. I put this on here because I was struggling with comparison, and I have not compared myself to anyone in a long time. I actually did a video about where I mentioned this, turning jealousy into inspiration and admiration, and I've really, really been able to do that, so I'm very proud of myself. My hair is healthy, strong, and vibrant. Girl, my hair grew so much. Look. Right. I'm still working on keeping it healthy. I slept with it wet yesterday, so if it looks frizzy, that does not reflect this year. I've really, really like worked on making my skin and hair healthier, and it's worked, even though I'm breaking out right now. But my skin is so much clearer than it was. Let me just give you this image, a picture of me in 6th grade versus now. I don't even want to read this out loud because it says the word era, so that's how you know it's stupid. I just pray and let things be. That was something I worked on, was just like detaching from things and not worrying. I think I did get better at that, but that is still something that I'm working on. Academic weapon. I had all A's. I still do, actually. Speaking of which, I actually am working on expanding my knowledge recently and becoming more educated. I want to be so educated, it's disgusting. Just say yes. That's for like getting out of my comfort zone. I definitely did do a lot of things that were out of my comfort zone, but I feel like that's still something that I want to work on, is saying yes to more things, which I do feel like I did, actually. There was a lot of things I did this year that I would never have done last year, but still something I'm working on. But I'm also working on finding balance in a lot of things, and that's one of the things that I'm finding balance in, is like saying no to things that drain me, saying yes to things that scare me but are good for me. Oh yeah, and then I also have a picture of my younger self. I want to do this on every vision board now because it really just reminded me who I'm doing everything for. And I feel like I was very connected to my younger self this year. I did a lot of things that I used to like doing as a kid, or I just like let myself have like childlike joy without worrying. That is my 2025 vision board review. I feel very satisfied with all that I've done this year. I feel so proud of myself, but I'm going to do a more in-depth review in a second. Overall, I definitely did like reach my goals of just like becoming healthier and pouring into myself in that way. I grew a lot as a person this year and really grew into who I want to be. So, very proud of myself. So now I'm going to review like my written goals, which is kind of just like what I literally just did. First thing is growing my relationship with God. I do think that I did that. I was praying and reading my Bible, and I was really consistent with those habits. Still something that I'm working on, but YouTube monetization and growth. I did not get monetized on YouTube, but that's okay because it was not the time. And I did grow. I did also just grow regarding like what I want to do on YouTube, and I feel very comfortable with that. Clear skin and healthy hair. Like I said, my skin has cleared up a lot. I really worked on taking care of my skin and hair and my body and just everything in general, and that's definitely paid off. Getting a new job. I did get a new job, and I'm working on getting another one now. So that's one of my goals for 2026, is to get a different job that aligns with me more. Next thing is just taking care of myself. I really, this is like the main theme of this year, was just really taking care of myself, and it has definitely paid off. I am very proud of myself for that. Growing my confidence. I have grown my confidence so much. I view myself now in a completely different way than I did back then, in a good way, obviously. Like, I feel so much more confident now when I look in the mirror, I'm able to be like, hey. Not comparing myself. Like I said, I have not compared myself in a long time, so I did definitely do that. Locking in school. I really, really locked in school, because when I first was in online school, I was like, sorry, I'm allowed to cheat. A lot of it was based on my real knowledge, but a fraction of it was not based on my real knowledge, but now all of it is based on my real knowledge because I don't cheat, ever. So I definitely have locked it in school, and it's paid off because I have all A's. Having a relationship. That's not actually something that I even wanted last year. I think I literally just was like, oh, I guess I have to. I go through days where I'm like, I want a relationship, and then I go through days where I'm like, no, I don't want anyone near me. I'm good by myself. But I think it's all about finding a balance between being by yourself and being with people, because I love my own company, and that's something that I've really, really come to love even more this year, is my own company. I've been able to have fun doing like the most simple things by myself, so I'm very proud of myself for that as well. That's another thing that I've done this year, is just finding beauty in everything and having fun no matter what. An example, the other day I try to turn everything into like a ritual, and I'm actually reading a book right now called The Ritual Effect, and it's about making everyday routines more fun and like evoke more emotions. And so, like, for example, if I'm like making dinner, I'll light a candle, play some music that I like, and just slow down and enjoy the process rather than speeding through it and doing it because I have to eat. Having like a healthy body and not being, unhappy in that regard. I'm very happy with where I am right now in my relationship with my body, and my body's tea. Making quality content. I'm very proud of where my content is at right now. There's obviously still some areas that I want to grow, and it's going to evolve and change over time, but I'm happy with it. Making my own money. Trusting the process. I definitely am still working on that, but that's something that I've really worked on, is just dismantling those doubts and those limiting beliefs that I've had. That was like the main theme of this year, was dismantling beliefs that don't serve me. And I want to tell you about 3 things that I did this year. I'm going to do a whole video on this, but a few of the things I want to talk about. Number 1, identity work. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where you think of like a specific identity that has everything that you want, does everything that you want, acts the way you act, speaks the way you speak, stands the way you stand, has the routine that you want, and then you follow that version of you until you literally become them. So there's that. Next thing is shadow work. I talked about that in my 3 videos ago. I don't know when this is going up. It's where you just face the darkest parts of yourself in order to work through them. And oh my, I would not be the person I am today if I didn't discover that. And I'm not being dramatic. It has taught me so much about myself. Oh my gosh. And then the next thing, affirmations. I say affirmations every single morning, and they have completely rewired the way that I think about myself and my life, because when you say the same thing over and over and over and over, eventually your brain believes it. Like, if you say every single day, I deserve good things, I am beautiful, I am loved, eventually you'll be like, oh, I actually am. And another thing, like saying them in the mirror to myself has also helped a lot, because then it's like, it really solidifies them. I'm like, I'm going to do an entire video on some of the self-care things that I do and things that have changed my life like that. But I just thought I'd share that. This year, I made a vision board, a collage, a Pinterest board, and then I wrote down my goals. Like, geez. I do feel like I reached my goals this year. Even if there were some things that I didn't fully reach to the full extent that I wanted to, who cares? I can just set those same goals for next year. You should go get a cup of tea, go get a coffee, light a candle. Let's make this a hangout. Come on, what are you doing? Come on. Also, while you're here, you should subscribe. Oh, okay, no. Oh my. I hope you now have a cup of tea or something. If not, now I'm going to do kind of like a more in-depth review of like the things that happened this year. So in January, I got my first job after everyone in my life was like, do you have a job yet? 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 And then I finally got one, and it was a relief. And I learned about what it's like having a job and everything. And in February, I visited my sister in Arizona for her birthday, and I actually started working that job. And I started to learn about kind of like different self-care habits, and I started to make them a part of my routine. This was like my introduction to the version of myself that I am now. It was like the habits that I do now regularly. I was learning about them through the internet mostly. In March, I kind of hit a point of burnout with YouTube, and so I took a break from it. And I really placed a focus on self-care and becoming a better version of myself, and just like literally rebranding my whole life. Like, I dyed my hair again, I changed my room around, I changed everything on YouTube, on my aesthetic changed, and my habits. I was really focusing on my habits, and I went on a trip, and I deep cleaned my room, and I took baths. It was like a whole factory reset basically, and it was amazing. I made a podcast episode about that whole time in my life, so if you want to watch it, you probably should. Yeah, I really just focused on like becoming the best version of myself, and that was what really led me to finding myself and who I want to be and everything. And I just learned so many things that changed my life. And I also just worked a lot about worked a lot on my mental health and what I know that I need in order to feel regulated and happy. I just faced a lot of the dark parts of myself and worked through them, and I worked through my limiting beliefs, and I worked through my doubt, and I worked through so many things that were like holding me back. And I also just changed my perception of myself and really grew my confidence, and I'm just so confident now. Obviously, I'm not perfect. Like, there's days where I don't feel confident, but I'm very much like I have a stronger foundation of my confidence. And I also found my passion for fashion, if you will, and for like the modeling world. And I did a lot of research on modeling and that industry. And I made a business plan because I'm planning to go into modeling. And I actually went to my first fashion show. If you saw my vlog recently, I went to my first fashion show, and I also applied for college. I am also going to a boot camp for modeling this summer, so and I've also just been recently focusing on expanding my knowledge and becoming more educated, because being educated, especially in a world like this, is very important. So I'm trying to become more educated on things that I care about, things that I'm passionate about, things that school doesn't necessarily always teach you. But also, speaking of which, online school has taught I literally just filmed like 12 minutes of footage, and the microphone was off the whole time. All I did for 10 minutes was I read a 2025 review in my journal. My sister gave me this idea, so shout out to her, my twin sister, Abby. What did you do this year that I'm so scared, that you had never done before? I started a new job and I went to a fashion show. Did you keep your New Year's resolutions? Yes! Did anyone close to you give birth or die? No. What cities, states, or countries did you visit? Arizona, Anacortes, Lake Roosevelt, Desert Air, Seattle, and Ellensburg. What would you like to have? Oh my gosh, I can't read. What would you like to have next year that you didn't have this year? A job that aligns with me. I'm working on getting a new job right now. It's rough out here. What dates from this year will remain etched upon your memory, and why? March 4th was when I took a break from YouTube, and when I like really found myself. November 8th, which is when I went to the fashion show. What is your biggest achievement? Finding my style, finding who I want to be, and growing a lot. I feel like I'm repeating that a lot, but like, what was your biggest failure? Not getting monetized on YouTube. Who cares? We move on, we forgive ourselves, it's okay. What hardships did you face? The job situation and fear and uncertainty of the future. I feel like that's what I deal with a lot, is like uncertainty of the future, but I've been really, like, another thing that I did this year is just kind of like rethinking my thoughts on that, because like, I always just remind myself that I'm on the right path no matter what, and like, there's nothing that can take me off the path that is set for me, and what's meant for me will never miss me. What's meant for you, it will never miss you. Did you suffer from illness or injury? No, thank God. What was the best thing that you bought? My ballet flats. Whose behavior merited celebration? My sister's. Whose behavior made you appalled? Trump. Where did most of your money go? Gas, clothes, and sweet treats, obviously. What did you get really excited about? The fashion show and just like the modeling and fashion world in general. What song will always remind you of this year? All of self-titled, especially Drunk in Love, and unfortunately Blow. Compared to this time last year, are you happier or sadder, richer or poorer, healthier or unhealthier? Happier, richer, and healthier. What did you wish you'd done more of? Connecting with other people and taking more initiative socially. What do you wish you'd done less of? Scrolling. How are you spending the holidays? With family. Did you fall in love this year? No, not with anyone but myself. Did you hate anyone now that you didn't hate this last year? Well, hate is a very strong word, but I'm not going to name names. Starts with a T, ends with a What was your favorite show? Normal People. And one of my favorite books that I read. An honorable mention is Drag Race because I watched it for the first time last year and there's a new season coming out next month. What was the best book you read last year? Down the Drain. Oh my gosh, it changed my life. It changed the way that I think. Everything. I can't explain it enough, and I need everybody to read it. I don't care. There's so many quotes that have resonated with me that I've always needed to hear, and I feel like I resonate with her in the way that she thinks so much. Like how she tries on all her, I think, her aunt's fur coats and like models them in the mirror and pretends to be her. I'm like, oh my gosh. And like and how she's like, I think this was her talking about how like people who are bullied are like the bullies they see something that threatens them because they know that you're different. Okay. And then she's like, everyone was making fun of me, whatever, and now everyone is wearing latex. And that's how the book ends. Because she started the latex renaissance. I can't explain it in words, you have to read the book. But oh, what was the greatest musical discovery? Self-titled by Beyonce. And also Everything Is Love by the Carters, aka Beyonce and Jay-Z. Ooh! My favorite is Heard About Us. Wow. And I've also recently been listening to Megan Thee Stallion, who is anyone ready to say that she's the queen of rap? Because she is. What was your favorite film? Jennifer's Body. What did you expect? I dressed up as her for Halloween. What was your favorite meal? Vodka pasta on that specific day. No elaboration is needed. What did you want and get? Going to a fashion show? Right when I started to like get into the fashion world and do research on that. What did you want and not get? Monetization on YouTube. It's okay, like I said. What did you do on your birthday? I hung out with family, I got matcha, I got flowers, and ate snacks. What was one thing that would have made your year immeasurably more satisfying? Getting off my phone and going outside. How would you describe your personal style this year? A word that I can't say. What kept you sane? Abby and Ellie, my sisters. What celebrity and public figure did you admire most? Julia Fox and Adriana Lima. I don't know if I've told this story, but one time I did tell the story actually, but I'm gonna tell it again. I was in a Victoria's Secret store with my sister. It was a long time ago. I don't remember how old I was. I saw there was a fashion show playing, and Adriana Lima was walking there, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this, and how do I do it? That was like my introduction to modeling. And she's like my number one inspiration in that industry because she used to be very like shy and quiet, how I am. Now she's literally like the most confident, commanding presence on the runway ever. So it just gives me hope, and I'm like, oh, like that's possible for me too because she's quiet, and yet on the runway, girl, she literally commands attention of everyone in the whole world. What political issues stirred you the most? All of them. Who do you miss? Mimi, aka my grandma. Who's the best person that you met? I met a lot of new people in my Bible study group. What valuable life lesson did you learn this year? The importance of prioritizing my well-being and emotions and finding beauty in the mundane. What quote sums up your year? Sometimes you have to burn your life to the ground in order to experience the life that is truly meant for you. Bro. And guess what that's from? Down the Drain. And every other quote from Down the Drain. Sums up my year, sums up my life, sums up everything I've ever thought. That is my review of that. I think now we're actually gonna move on to 2026 because did we do that earlier? No. So 2025 was a really good year. I honestly felt really happy this year, and I think I already said this like a million times. But yeah. And I'm really looking forward to 2026. I love the new year because it's such a fresh start. I mean, obviously, there's nothing I love more than a fresh start. Am I right? You know? But all I have to say is don't expect yourself to be perfect. Don't compare yourself to other people because this time of year can definitely be a time of comparing yourself to even yourself or even people around you or being like, I wish that I was here, but like that doesn't mean that you can't still get there. Don't set a timeline on yourself. Just forgive yourself and remind yourself that you still have time, okay? Cheers. So I just wrote down my intentions and my goals for 2026, which yes, those are different. The goals are more like specific and the intentions are just like kind of more general. So I'm going to physically write them down in my journal and then put it somewhere where I can see so that throughout 2026 I'm reminded of my goals. And I'm also going to write why I want to achieve this because I don't know, I feel like that would motivate me more and I just want to do that. So first of all, my intentions. Number one thing is to let myself have fun. That's something my therapist says to me all the time is let yourself have fun because sometimes I put so much pressure on situations or myself in general and I need to just let go and have fun. Next thing is to stop over explaining everything or downplaying how I feel because I'm so scared of being misunderstood that I explain everything more than I need to and I need to just calm down, let myself have fun. Or if I feel something, I need to not be like, I'm fine, it's fine, even if I'm not. Next is to just go with the flow. Instead of trying to go against the current of life, if you will, I need to go with it and just let go and whatever. Don't put so much pressure on myself. That's the next thing that I put is just to not expect myself to be perfect or put pressure on myself. Next thing is to slow down and romanticize everything. It really helps you enjoy life when you do that because imagine this scenario. You make yourself a delicious breakfast, but then you just eat it as fast as you can without even really thinking about how it tastes. It's so much more fun if you slowly savor each bite and turn it into a sort of ritual, if you will, or like light a candle and turn it into like a fun activity rather than breakfast. I mean, if you have time, like obviously, but and the next thing is to be present and grateful for what's around me because sometimes I focus on the future so much that sometimes I forget about what's happening right now because I'm like I have to reach this goal, I have to do this, but like it's really important to just slow down. Change is constant. And something that I want to do is like whenever I'm for example like eating breakfast, just really focus on how grateful I am that I'm able to do something like that. Something as simple as that I take for granted. Not everybody is blessed to have breakfast in the morning, so I need to focus on being grateful for every single thing. Next thing that I want to do is to do what I feel called to do when I feel called to do it. This is mostly regarding YouTube. Instead of putting pressure on it and being like, viewing not just YouTube but everything, viewing it as something that I have to do, being like, I feel called to do this, so I'm going to do it because I want to, and I'm going to enjoy it and romanticize the process. Next thing I want to do is working on my people-pleasing tendencies. A lot of the intentions and goals that I have to do with the way that I interact with people. I've been really rethinking that recently because the way that I interact with people, not how I want to be. I want to show up in a way that I like in an authentic way. Next thing is to avoid procrastination. A lot of times I procrastinate out of perfectionism and fear because I'm like, I don't want to do this thing because I'm scared of judgment or I'm scared of this or that, whatever. Or I'm like, I am procrastinating because I want it to be perfect, but it's better for something to be done than perfect, and however something comes out is how it's meant to. Next thing is to find a balance in life. And an example is just with like rest and productivity. Another thing that I did in 2025 was finding the importance of rest because you cannot give 100% all the time. Moving on to my goals, getting a little more specific. Number one thing that I want is a new job that I like, a new job that is aligned with me and my goals. And I want to be able to get a new job before college, which is in a long time, so I'm definitely going to be able to do that. My current job is affecting my mental health, and I want to have one that does not. Next thing is to step outside every day, because you probably already know I do online school, and so sometimes I'm inside at my desk at my computer all day, and I do not go outside for a while. So I just never underestimate the power of fresh air. There's nothing I love more than a little fresh air, even if it's cold. That's why jackets exist, baby. And something that my super fit teacher taught me last year is if you have a goal, set yourself up for success. So for example, if you want to start going on walks every day, but it's cold outside, put your jacket and your shoes somewhere where where you will see them and where you'll easily be able to grab them and put them on and go on a walk. I want to learn more Spanish because I took Spanish in my freshman year and my sophomore year. But when people speak Spanish, I can understand a lot of what they're saying, or when I read it, I can understand a lot, but I'm not able to speak it very well. It's hard for me to translate in my head what I need to say from English to Spanish and say it out loud. I also want to learn Italian because I want to go to Italy so bad, but I'm starting with Spanish because I know more Spanish than I know Italian. I also want to practice a hobby once a week, whether it's cooking, baking, some kind of art, or doing a puzzle, things like that I love doing, or reading. Your hobbies is what gives you a sense of purpose and joy, so I want to be able to do that instead of just going through the motions of life and not doing anything fun. Next thing I want to do is limit my distractions. Recently, it's been absolutely out of hand. Like, I keep watching YouTube during my Zoom. I mean, no, I don't. And then I have it on 2x speed. Oh my gosh, are you a robot? I just need to stop being so distracted and just kind of like focus on the present moment. I'm not going to give up background noise. There's no way. I love background noise. But you don't always need it. Sometimes I am about to do something and I immediately put my earbuds in and turn on YouTube. I'm like, this is like a 5-minute task. You don't need YouTube. And be mindful of what my background noise is. Next thing is no doom scrolling. It's horrible. And it just like makes me feel anxious, and even worse, I just don't want to like overindulge in like things that are not good for me, things that bring me temporary fulfillment. I want to do things that bring me actual fulfillment. This is a weird one, but I really want to learn how to do the splits. I don't know why, I just really want to learn how, because I feel like it would be a good flex to be like, I know how to do the splits. I do Pilates like literally so much, and it has helped my flexibility a lot, so I want to learn how to do the splits. Next thing I want to do is become a better listener. Oh, I'm a really bad listener. It's nothing with them, it's just my brain goes so fast. Sometimes my brain is like a bunch of overlapping conversations and songs and buzzing and like, it's I don't know. Next thing I want to do is just put myself out there and get out of my comfort zone. I want to save money because, like I said, I'm going to college next year. My college is actually not like super expensive, which is good. I put a specific amount of money with a plus. I don't want to set limits on how much I'm going to save. I am going to have some help paying for it, but obviously, like, I don't want to just completely run out of money. And then I also said YouTube growth. And I did put a specific number with a plus, like I said, because I don't want to set limits on myself. Shifting my perspective on creative projects. I journaled about that yesterday, actually. 2 pages, girl. Creating what I love. Not in a way where it's like, I have to do this, but in a way where it's like, I want to do this, and I love doing this, and I feel inspired, and I want to share this with other people and express myself. And then I also want to shift my perspective on abundance. Like I said earlier, being more grateful instead of focusing on what I want or what I don't have, focusing on the abundance of things that I already do have. Next thing is to let myself feel safe to be myself in social settings. Learning to set firm boundaries. Boundaries are a very big struggle for me because, like I said earlier, I'm a people pleaser. So it's hard for me to set boundaries. So I want to be able to do that because I've been trying to shift my perspective on that, but I want to place an extra focus because I was talking about this with my therapist, where it just takes a lot of practice of being yourself, setting boundaries, stuff like that. It takes a lot of practice. You can't just expect yourself to be perfect immediately and know how to do everything that you want to do. I shifted my perspective on boundaries because it is better for somebody to think that you're rude for setting boundaries than for you to put yourself in an uncomfortable position to please other people. You're not rude for your boundaries. Your boundaries are valid. There's a reason that you want those boundaries. The last goal that I have is to read at least 1 book a month. And my goal is to read every day, at least 1 chapter or at least like 10 pages. But I'm sure I'll be able to do more than that because I've been like making it a habit to read every day, and it's becoming more like second nature. So those are my goals for 2025. I'm gonna go pee, as you can see. I have to pee. And then I'm gonna come back and write them down and say why I want them and what I'm gonna do to achieve them. So okay, icons. I'm gonna turn this into like kind of an art project. Sorry. You can do this with me if you want. Oh my gosh. Also, I got water. Everyone stay hydrated. Hydrated. Okay. I'm gonna write, like I said, my intentions, and then I'm gonna write my goals, and then I'm gonna write why I want the goals, and then I'm gonna write how I'm gonna get them. Okay, I need to set up a different angle because this is not gonna work. You know what nobody talks about is ring lights, because when you film with a ring light, you literally can't see for like the next hour because it's so bright. This is gonna have to look at how I crumpled this paper. I can't think straight. Oh, hey, don't break your neck. For 2026, I'm thinking green. there's that. Okay, so that looks really bad, but that's okay. I don't really know what that's supposed to be, but we're drawing it, okay? Oh my gosh! I'm thinking we write the goal, the intentions right here, and I'm thinking we write them in little serif fonts. And yes, I took a commercial art class. Thank you for asking. Okay, so there's that. I'm gonna write all these there. Okay, I finished my whatever it's called. It took a long time, but here is what it looks like. So I wrote all of my intentions and my goals, as you can see, and I already told you what they are, so I'm not going to repeat them. On this side, I wrote why I want them and how I will achieve them. So why I want a new job, because I want to be closer to my long-term goals and feel aligned in every area of my life. Why I want to go outside every day, I want to be able to feel more connected to nature and more grounded, and obviously going outside is really good for your mental health. Why I want to learn Spanish, I want to be able to connect with more people around me and just grow my education in that way. To practice my hobbies, I want to be able to just find more joy in everyday life, in my everyday routine. To limit distractions, because I want to feel more present, grounded, and joyful. Why I don't want to overindulge in temporary fulfillment, specifically doom scrolling, because obviously they're bad for me in the long run and not worth it. Why I want to do the splits, I don't need a reason, I just want to. Why I want to be a better listener, I want to be able to feel more connected to people around me. I want to put myself out there because more opportunities come from pushing through your fear. Why I want to save money so I can invest in my future and my long-term goals. Why I want YouTube growth is because I want to be able to creatively express myself and help more people feel less alone, and I want to be able to reach my long-term goals. Why I want to shift my perspective on my creative projects, because I want to be able to do them for the right reason, reach the right people, and feel more aligned. I want to shift my perspective on abundance because I want to feel more grateful for what I already have. Why I want to let myself feel safe to be authentic, because I want to have more meaningful connections. Why I want to set firm boundaries, because I want to show myself that I respect myself enough to do so, and I want to read every day to expand my knowledge. Moving on to how I will achieve this, I will get a new job by putting myself out there, applying and contacting places continuously, and just taking more initiative overall. Outside time, I want to set a dedicated time for at least 5 minutes to take a short break outside. It's easy. Once I get outside, it's easier and it'll become part of my routine. Learning Spanish, I will spend a little bit of time every single day working on weak areas. For practicing my hobbies, just setting aside a little bit of time to feel whatever I feel called to do, whether it's like drawing a picture or doing a puzzle. It doesn't have to be like I don't want to do it out of like feeling like I have to, but out of wanting to do it. Something that really helps me is just like romanticizing the process of everything that I do. Limiting distraction, putting my phone on silent and just keeping it away from me. And like I said, just being mindful of what background noise I'm using. Doom scrolling and temporary fulfillment. Replacing it with something that brings me true fulfillment. Deleting social media when I have to, and avoiding things that trigger those like indulgent behaviors. Doing the splits, stretching every day, and I just wrote down a bunch of stretches that help with flexibility, so I'm gonna do this every single day before I work out. Being a better listener, just being intentional about really actively listening to people, not interrupting, and thinking through my response after they're done speaking instead of while they're speaking. Putting myself out there, just reminding myself of the end goal and doing it scared, because doing it scared is better than not doing it at all. Once you do it, it will get less scary and it will lead to more opportunities. Saving money, asking myself if I absolutely have to spend the money I'm about to spend, and just being more intentional about what I spend, because obviously I need money for college and gas, and I don't need to buy a coffee. Sometimes I do, and putting a portion of my paychecks into savings and making it so my savings account is off limits unless I absolutely need to take money out of it. For YouTube growth, consistency and authenticity. Shifting my perspective on creative projects. Just reminding myself why I'm doing it whenever I'm about to do it, and romanticizing the process. Shifting my perspective on abundance. Whenever I'm doing like a simple task or something that I like is just normal to me, just really shifting my perspective on it and being like, I'm so lucky that I get to take a hot shower when it's like freezing outside. Letting myself feel safe to be authentic. Just different grounding exercises. I've talked to my therapist about this. Reminding myself that I'm safe, and if people judge me, it does not say anything about them, or it does not say anything about me. People are thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about every little minor thing that you're doing. And reminding myself that the right people will be drawn to my authentic self, and I'll be able to make more connections in that way. Setting more boundaries, being really intentional of what I say and the way that I go about setting boundaries and all of that. Reading every day, just making it a part of my routine. And my twin sister and I have been talking a lot about reading together, so using her to keep me accountable is going to help as well. So that is that, all of my goals and intentions. I'm going to keep this somewhere where I will see it so I can be reminded of my goals, why I'm doing this, and everything. That will really help me. I'm going to make a collage on Pinterest. Here's my 2025 collage. I want to make something that is going to inspire me. One more goal that I forgot to say is to be an academic weapon in college. I just wrote down 2 more goals. The first one is, like I said, to be an academic weapon in college. And I obviously want to do this just to grow my education and feel more successful, and, and I will do this by working in a good environment that I work well in, limiting distractions and getting help when needed. The next thing is to just take more risks creatively, whether it's filming in public, because that would just lead to more growth personally and just on YouTube. And yeah, the way that I would do that is to plan it out, set a day and time, and just do it scared. Now we're gonna make my Pinterest board and my collage. We have to make both. I'm gonna save things that have to do with each goal, and then I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to turn it into a collage, and then I'm going to print it out. We'll see what happens. Okay, so here is my collage, or my Pinterest board. I'm going to add more to this over the year, but I'm now going to make a collage out of my favorite ones from this, and then I'm going to choose ones for my vision board. Alright, I just made my collage. I'm very, very happy with it, the way it turned out. I really love the colors and everything. But as you can see, there's themes here. I know this is a little much, but I can do what I want, so. So I just did a short little digital declutter on my phone. I'm going to do a physical declutter of my space because it's getting a little cluttered right now because I'm throwing things around to do this video. And I also just ordered pictures for my vision board that I'm going to be able to pick up today in 2 hours. I'm gonna make a mind movie, which is basically a vision board in video form. I know this is really a lot. It's why am I doing all this? But because I want to. I just made my mind movie. All I have to do is make my vision board. My pictures are actually ready to pick up right now. Oh! I just ate dinner and I picked up my pictures. So I'm going to show you them now. I'm going to make my vision board with my sisters, so I will show you the finished product whenever I get the chance. It might be in the next video. So I kind of group these in categories. First is regarding the job and saving money and all that. So first I have this one. A lot of these are pictures that are on my collage that I showed you, but this is just a closer look. So I have this one. I got the job! Career growth. That also does have to do with YouTube as well, and modeling, because I am going to modeling boot camp, as I said. So obviously for saving money, these all have to do with money and getting a new job, and this is just a general thing. And then I have this for just stretching and learning to do the splits. This one has a double meaning with actually going outside and traveling, and then this one's just going outside. I also want to explore new places in my hometown. I might do a video on that who knows? But these two things have to do with eliminating distractions. This obviously has to do with learning more Spanish. This has to do with reading every day. This, because one of my hobbies is cooking, and like I said, I want to practice more hobbies. This obviously just has to do with like locking in college. Then I have a pile that all has to do with YouTube. So I have that, this, YouTube growth, and also just like being more creative and shifting my perspective on my creativity, like I said. So that's what that all has to do with. And then these two have to do with being more grateful and shifting my perspective in that way. This one is just like a general one. All of these have to do with rethinking the way that I interact with people. So this one is just about not being afraid to be myself. This one is setting boundaries. If you hear creaking, it's because my bed is super loud. And this one has to do with listening. And then I have this, because like I said, I'm going to a modeling boot camp, just like one of the themes of 2026, and something I'm really excited about. And this, which has to do with taking more risks creatively and just in general. Those are the pictures for my vision board. I'm gonna make the vision board at some point with my sisters, like I said, so you will see it then. But yeah, so I don't know if it'll be in this video when you see it, but I'll see you next time I see you. Bye.